Hello friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with the story about the worst customer imaginable. Screaming and bad temper and swearing? Sounds like our first story. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. We're like family here. Work at pharmacy retail chain. We have one regular customer who we'll call Rude Jersey B, RJB for short. I live in the South, and RJB is a pushy, rude customer from New Jersey. Imagine George Costanza's mom on Seinfeld who constantly smells like crap. Yesterday, she came in with her 7 to 8-year-old daughter. Yesterday, they both walked into the store, and immediately her daughter starts running through the aisles. RJB starts yelling as loudly as she can for the kid to come back as she's getting a buggy. I'm working on resetting a display. I've just broken it all down. Products sitting in a neat pile on the floor. Price tags are pulled. RJB walks up. RJB, hey, move your stuff. I'm trying to get through. Keep in mind this stuff is in no way blocking her path. Me, oh, I'm sorry. Let me move it over. I stand there awkwardly trying to figure out what to move because it's not in anyone's way. RJB, your store is always a mess. Me, rolling my eyes at this point. Me, sorry, just putting up a new display. She doesn't even pay attention to this and walks away as her child starts running up and down the aisles like crazy. I'm still working on my display, and suddenly her daughter comes up to me and starts playing 20 questions like crazy. After 15 minutes of this, I get fed up. Me, hey, you should go find your mom. I need to get some work done. Her, oh, okay. Daughter runs off, and 2 minutes later, she comes back. Me, what happened with staying with your mom? Her, she told me to come talk to you. I'm getting pissed off at this point. Me, well, tell your mom you can't be alone by yourself in the store without an adult, okay? Her, okay. Runs off, and I was praying it was over until RJB comes walking up to me. RJB, I'm trying to get shopping done, so I'm going to let her stay over here with you for a while. Me, I'm sorry, but she can't be in the store by herself alone, and I can't watch her. RJB, what? Really? She's just going to stand over here for a while? We're like family here. We've been coming here since this place opened. Me, I'm sorry, that's store policy. You can talk to a manager about it. RJB, just forget it. She storms off with the little girl, and I roll my eyes and get back to work until I start hearing some bangs coming a few aisles away. I just ignore it as one of my other coworkers doing work elsewhere. That is until an elderly customer comes walking up to me. EC, hi, there's a little girl on the toy aisle and she's just throwing toys everywhere. I just thought I'd let you know, honey. I know exactly who it is, too, so I walk over to the toy aisle, and lo and behold, RJB's daughter has destroyed the toy aisle. It's like she's tried to knock every toy off the shelf. She's starting to take a Barbie out of the box right as I catch her. Me, hey, where's your mother? Her, she's shopping. Me, okay, come with me. So we finally find RJB. Me, hi, excuse me, your daughter needs to stay with you. She just wrecked our toy aisle. There are toys everywhere. RJB, she didn't wreck nothing. Your store is always a mess. How dare you accuse her of that? Let me talk to your manager. I stomp off to the office, tell my manager what just happened, and he tells me I did the right thing. We even go look at the cameras, and you can see the little girl destroyed the aisle. Manager walks back out with me. Manager, hi there, ma'am. I heard you wanted to speak with me. RJB, your worker just accused my daughter of destroying the toy aisle. Manager, yes, ma'am. We just watched the security cameras, and your daughter did destroy the toy aisle unattended. We ask that you keep your daughter with you today, or we ask that you come back at a time when your daughter can appropriately be supervised. RJB, you're telling me to leave? We're like family here. How dare you treat me like this? Let me speak to the store manager, because I'm going to have you both fired. Manager, you can have this number here, and he'll be in tomorrow. I'm going to ask you to leave now because you're creating a scene. RJB, I'll effing have you fired. She slams her cart into a shelf and leaves. And our second story. Petty revenge gone horribly wrong. So one day I'm driving home from work pretty late with a coworker. It's been a 12-hour shift and I have to take my coworker to her home because she didn't have a ride. It's about 11:30 p.m. and we're just making small talk while I drive the speed limit, 45 miles per hour, in the right-hand side lane in a 2-lane per direction road. I see a big Ford Explorer come up right next to me on my left, and I think nothing of it. I keep driving, and we're approaching a red light. All of a sudden, for whatever reason, this Ford Explorer swerves into my lane without a turn signal. I panic and dead brake pretty hard and narrowly avoid my left fender hitting her rear tire. I'm pretty thankful nothing happened, but I honk hard and go into the left lane and come up to the SUV's driver's side window where I see this woman on her cell phone. I'm furious. I roll down my window and yell, "Get the F off your phone," and speed up and pass her and go back into my right lane and stop at the red light just a few yards away. Me and my coworker are talking about how people are nuts and phones always cause accidents, etc., and we think it's over and we avoided an accident. It goes south very fast from here. The Ford Explorer comes up behind us and stops an inch from my bumper and turns on her high beams. It gets worse. The light turns green and I start to drive up what's a big bridge going over a 6-lane highway. At the very foot of the bridge, the SUV driver swerves into the left lane at high speed, passes us, and swerves right back into the right lane where I am and dead brakes. I dead brake as well and narrowly avoid going windshield first into her rear. All the alarm bells in my head are ringing, and I speed up and go up to the bridge in the left lane at high speed, and the SUV follows suit in the right lane right on my tail. It becomes apparent now that she's wanting to repeat the dead brake. Now, I'm coming up to the highest point in the bridge. I'm in the left side lane. She's in the right side lane, closing in fast. All of a sudden, I see a pickup truck ahead of me. She's almost up to my rear tire in the right lane so that I can't go there, and this truck in front of me is going the speed limit. I do what's logical. I slow down, but this Explorer hasn't seen the truck. She doesn't slow down. She tries to come in front of me to dead brake again, but it's too late. She sees the truck too late and slams into it. I panic hard. I'm still going at 60 miles per hour, and these two cars luckily swerve to the right, and I squeeze past them. Heart pounding in my chest, and finally I breathe. I think about not calling the cops, but me and my coworker decided to do so because of the other poor driver involved. I call the cops and tell them what happened, and my coworker backs me up. The crazy lady gets a ticket for reckless driving, and the officer tells me I could have pressed charges for assault. I'm just glad everyone got away with no real damage. And our next story. I got my boss fired. Context. I worked for a manufacturing facility an hour away from a major city in New Jersey. Participants. Myself, fresh out of college, foreigner on a work visa, my colleague, who was also my lead, let's call him Mike, and my boss Jared, who was a total loser and a horrible boss. Story time. As I joined the department, I came to realize that Mike was a bit odd. I heard him publicly belittle Mexican people and say how they're stealing our jobs, blah, blah nonsense. I'm not Mexican, but I knew 100% that he was coming after me very shortly. He soon started joking with me, telling me that he feels I would really like Jeff Dunham because I would associate with Ahmed the terrorist, and some other really odd and insulting things about my culture. Keep in mind, when I joined the department, he was terrified because my skills were a lot better than his, something that was pointed out by executive management. I remained respectful and looked at him as a mentor. I avoided going to HR because I was on a work visa and was terrified of losing my status. I had no other options. Transferring jobs was a messy situation. I'd have to find an employer who was willing to sponsor me after investing in me, and I really wanted to stay in the country, so I decided I was going to deal with it. All that meant was I was going home being angry in front of my significant other, something I truly regret. Then there was this one day. Mike refused to join a meeting because we were working on a project that I was assigned as the lead. He was integral to the project, and when he did show up at the meeting, I respectfully went to his cubicle and asked him if he can please join us. His response was, "I don't want to. Get the F out of my face." I asked again respectfully, to which he responded, "Why don't you go back to your effing country?" I said, what did you just say? To which he doubled down by saying, "I said, why don't you go back to your effing country?" Needless to say, I was right away in front of the VP of HR, who tried to calm me down by saying, "Mike used to be much worse. He's made so much progress. Please don't let it get to you." Guess what happened next? They called a therapist to have us both work in front of him so he can see if our interactions trigger each other's emotions. Unbelievable. A few weeks in, Mike was his old self and made another offensive remark at me, which I won't even mention, so I went to my boss, who, by that time, he said I was overreacting and wanted nothing to do with this. I told him, okay, so today is Tuesday. If by Thursday morning you don't fire him, I'm quitting. But on my way out, I'll be walking into the CEO's office and let him know what's going on, so pick carefully. If I quit, you're going to lose your job too. He told me I was being an a-hole because Mike has severe arthritis and I can't just fire him. I took the day off without letting him know, and by Thursday morning, they walked Mike out, but I took the extra effort and let the CEO know, and the VP of HR along with my boss were also fired shortly after. I can't tell you how much I was shaking at the CEO's office. Oof. Update. Am I happy I did it? No, but in the context of what was happening, I see why I did it. And yes, the story's real. This is a rural town, and the Mikes in the company slightly outweigh the non-Mikes. Think generational factory town, mom, dad, kids work there. It must be so hard for you to have to swallow that kind of disrespect every day. I'm glad you got some satisfaction. And our last story. Anti-HOA life hack. When my HOA said that I needed a water catch basin under all my potted plants in front of my townhouse, I noticed that the official rules did not say plant saucer. Technically, a water catch basin is an industrial water conduit, so I went out and bought a big, ugly water conduit and a big PVC pipe to be attached to it. I then sat my plants on top of that. It's still there. It takes a majority of members to change the rules, so they have to live with their demand. They then said that the flowers in front of my townhouse need to be dug up because only the landscaper could plant things there. The previous owner had planted them and I hadn't any idea where they all were, so I bought a shovel and dug up every single plant and expensive bush in front of my place. It cost them much more than the $50 fine that they were charging me to fix my compliance. In the past year, they've stopped trying to fine me, probably because I'm too expensive to go after for their little things anymore. There are lots of solutions you can pick. If an HOA requires a grass front lawn, see if you can get written permission to spray it regularly with color so that it won't turn brown. You then go out and get fluorescent pink. You simply make it so obnoxious and expensive that they stop trying to impose silly little things. There are lots of fun things you can do with following rules exactly or getting permission to do things that have unexpected results. Brainstorm with friends, have fun, but make sure it stays exactly within the rules. You can train them to look only at meaningful things instead, especially with you. HOAs can actually be a good thing if they're reminded to stick to what's really important. More like a utility service than an enforcement authority. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.